I saw Micheal last week, so here's your spoiler review and trigger warning: abuse. I want to start with the real conversation this film is having, whether it knows it or not. The biggest thing this film struggles with is the difference between understanding Michael Jackson and protecting him. Because emotionally, this movie absolutely works. The concert scenes are incredible in cinema. The music, the sound mixing, the performances, they're all genuinely strong. I was singing in my seat, I was clapping, I was tearing up. It was all quite emotional. The Motown 25 moonwalk recreation, the Beat It choreography, those scenes tell you who Michael was as an artist. But the deeper the film goes, the more careful it becomes. The scenes with young Michael, played by Giuliano Valdi, were actually the strongest for me in the entire movie. He played Michael as a young, innocent and curious child. But then you can feel the loss of childhood happening in real time because of Joe Jackson's abuse. You can also feel the weight of the fame pressing down on him before he was even a teenager. Coleman Domingo as Joe Jackson was absolutely terrifying. It was such a convincing performance, honestly, shout out to him. In the second half, once Michael becomes the icon, the film starts preserving him instead of interrogating. The vitiligo storyline is mentioned and then dropped. The film writes off all his skin changes to vitiligo and just moves on, when in reality, his physical transformation during this period was far more complex than the film was willing to explore. The Pepsi accident is shown. His hair catches fire during the 1984 commercial shoot, and this leads to painkiller dependence and a lasting psychological damage. It's one of the film's most powerful moments. If the film really focused on establishing that Joe Jackson, Michael's father, was the main villain in this, and while that is correct, it just didn't give us enough of Michael as a person. It came from a point of view of someone that idolizes Michael and thinks he's the best thing that happened, which is fine, but it just didn't give us a well-rounded view, in my opinion. Now here's some BTS context and it explains so much. Trigger warning. The original version of this film included the Jordan Chandler 1993 sexual abuse allegation, but the attorneys for the Jackson estate discovered a clause in the settlement that bars Chandler from being mentioned in any film. During my research of this film, I discovered that even in the original script with that abuse allegation, Michael Jackson wasn't presented as guilty. I'm not saying he is, but it wasn't presented as guilty. It was presented as if he was blackmailed, and that's how this all came about. Anyway, the story couldn't be told either way in the film, and the third act was completely scrapped. It then took 22 days of reshooting to make a completely different ending, and it cost the Jackson estate millions of dollars. Now, is that a creative decision or a legal wall? It's not clear from the film. Also, Michael's daughter, Paris Jackson, after reading the script, in her own words, said, "The narrative is being controlled, there's a lot of inaccuracy and there's a lot of full-blown lies." She read an early draft and gave notes on what she felt was dishonest or inaccurate, but her notes were not addressed, so she walked away entirely. Her brother Prince attended the movie premiere for Michael, but she did not. Also, Janet Jackson says she politely declined to be involved in this, like she was not involved at all. She was not even mentioned in the film. What this meant is that we didn't really get a revealing biopic. Micheal was produced by Graham King, who also produced Bohemian Rhapsody, which is a story about Queen and Freddie Mercury. And that was such an honest piece. I mean, there was a few critics that said he didn't really explore Freddie Mercury's bisexuality, but that was the biggest thing. Bohemian Rhapsody actually received 8 Oscar nominations, and I don't know that Micheal is going to do the same because it was basically a concept film. It didn't really tell us anything about Michael, at least not in his older life. Critics gave this 39% on Rotten Tomatoes, while the audiences gave it 96%. Both reactions make complete sense. As a film with something to say about one of the most complicated figures in pop culture history, it didn't go there. As a tribute heard on a massive screen in a packed cinema, it was beautiful. And that's just Michael Jackson's cultural power. This film reminded me so much about how much I loved him. Even now, even through a film that's protecting him as much as it's celebrating him, that Michael Jackson aura, that essence still got through. Is that a testament to how extraordinary his music is, or proof that we still haven't had that real conversation about him? It's probably both. Anyway, that's all from me. I'll see you on Friday. Bye.